Some residents of Summerland, BC are growing uneasy and impatient, hoping to get a timeline on when they can go home. The growing Bald Range wildfire has forced thousands to flee to nearby communities like Penticton or West Kelowna. But the fire is still burning out of control, making it impossible to return right now. And many are now concerned about what awaits them, hoping that their homes and businesses will still be standing, but they don't have any information. Our next guest is one of those who evacuated from that area. Ron Kubek is the owner of Lightning Rock Winery, and he joins us from Big White, BC. Ron, good morning. Thanks for your time this morning. It's been a very stressful weekend. How are you and your family doing?
I'm good, Susan. I appreciate having me on. The first thing that happened when the fire started was, okay, what are we going to do? And we started making preparations for staff. And so I've been in touch with my staff who are spread out from Osoyoos to Adams Lake. My key staff members are in Penticton. We had to take care of our foreign workers, and my winemakers doing that, working with our foreign workers and working with my neighbors' foreign workers. And then my wine shop manager, who's the current Rotary president in Penticton, has been pulling 12 to 13-hour shifts volunteering. So, my job is just trying to find out where everybody's at, dealing with it. The fire took a turn last night to the south, and if it continues south, we're okay. If it goes southeast, it's about 3 kilometers from one of our properties where our staff live. So, they're out now, but we're safe.
What's happened to your vineyard?
Well, the vineyards are okay. Smoke taint means that there's going to be no crop this year. We'll have to pick it, but to mitigate the risks of smoke and everything else, no one wants to drink a smoky wine. And so what's going to happen is we still have to go through and pick it, but we're lucky. We've got insurance. The power had gone off, and so we had some wine in process, so we're concerned about that. But I've got friends and clients that completely lost their house, lost their businesses. So we feel very blessed that we were on the outer edge. We're just, praying that the fire comes under control soon. We just don't know when.
Ron, I was visiting the beautiful Okanagan area two years ago, and heard about the smoke of previous fires. What is the scope of the damage to vineyards in this area, do you think?
Well, I think that, I was talking to a couple winemakers on Sunday and then another one yesterday, and, they've been through this before a lot. One of them was within a kilometer of it and had to throw all of his grapes out. And I think that we're looking at a massive situation in terms of the smoke taint. But it's not just grapes. My neighbor farms 165 acres in Summerland. 14 of them are peaches. And, usually he gets 500 bins, about 200,000 pounds. He got 38,000 pounds off. So he has 162,000 pounds of peaches, which is about $330,000 right now going to waste because they were due to be picked, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. And so that's just one of many small farms throughout Summerland that's affected. But the smoke is also, Susan, what people don't realize is totally affected the whole economy up and down. If you were here, you understand that, the highway in Summerland is the way that you get from Kelowna, West Kelowna to Penticton, Oliver, Osoyoos, where all the wineries are. And that's been shut down since Friday, and there is no timeline on opening. So it's not a fire that only affects Summerland, it affects all of the Okanagan. And the smoke is, we're up at Big White right now, and the smoke is pretty bad here. It's not as bad as, down in Summerland where it's 450 parts per million, which is not good.
No.
Not good and healthy.
Not at all. Well, yes, the whole tourism industry has been significantly disrupted in the Okanagan here in summer when, it's at its peak. I want to talk a little bit about what could come out of this in terms of compensation for vineyards or winemakers or other crops. What is the detail about harvesting even a partial crop? Do you get disqualified from financial aid there?
Well, you know, in 24, we didn't get any money from the government when we lost all of our fruit due to the catastrophic freeze that we had. And we financed our way through that. In talking to my neighbor, who's also president of BC Tree Fruits, he said they'd been in touch with the government and there's nothing coming right now, nothing at all. And for us, you know, we talked to our organization, there's nothing coming. The one benefit that wineries have is that we have wine in inventory in glass bottles in the warehouse, and it seems that the warehouse was saved because it's right downtown Summerland. We've got some down in Vancouver. So we're okay. It'll be lean in a few years, but no one knows. And, you know, people are, as I heard on your lead-in, people are impatient about getting back, but because we live in a 5-minute world where, you know, what was news 5 minutes ago is old news right now, people need to realize that the fire is still out of control. And, you know, we understand that houses are important. You know, my winemaker's trying to get back to check on his poultry that he has at one of our properties. But now that the fire's moved closer, he's not going to be getting back in. And so, you know, the problem for governments, and it was evidenced last month with the no deal Charlottetown deal, is that the governments don't really want to help. You know, they just announced that they're doing 1,000 beds for wildfire evacuees, which I give them credit for. The CAO of Penticton and the Chief Administrative Officer, sorry for using lingo, of Penticton and Summerland are working well together. And Penticton and West Kelowna have taken a huge amount of evacuees from Summerland. But you know, this is going to be a long-term, what happens when we get back in. And I think the first thing is that I'm hoping is, okay, let's get the fire out. Let's go in and see what's going on and then help my neighbors. You know, I reached out to one yesterday who had sent me a picture, and his house was right behind the fire when it started. And it's completely burned down, including his Ford F-350. All you can see is a door from it, nothing else.
Ron, we just got a minute left, and I want to get to one more thing. I assure you, the heat and fires in our country in the last few years is not a 5-minute story. That's what we're all very focused on right now. I know, though, that, and we just have a minute left, I know that you want to talk about interprovincial laws about wine, tariffs, barriers, trade barriers. How do you think this would help the situation at all?
We want to survive. As small businesses across Canada, we want to survive. Ontario went through, you guys had forest fires back there, and then you've got some flooding going on in Niagara. We've got this going on in BC. The problem is Canada is still closed for business. And, you know, we want to be able to recover. And the greatest way to recover would be for the provincial premiers to get real and remove the interprovincial tariffs so that we have a chance to recover. And I think that's the greatest thing they can do for all Canadian businesses, say, we need to help out other regions because, you know, when one region is having a tough time, another region's doing okay. And I just hope that they would get serious, Susan.
I'm sure. And at the moment, looking into the next week, what's your focus?
Making sure that all my staff is taken care of. You know, we've got some foreign staff in, we've got locals that are in, making sure that they're taken care of, answering any questions that we have from customers about what's going on, and then reaching out to my friends and clients who've lost everything and offering whatever we can do as soon as we can get back in. We have the resources to do that. And so, you know, people who have lost houses and lost their businesses, we're trying to do everything we can to say, okay, what can we do when we can get back in to help them recover? And, you know, my staff and, you know, the wine industry is a very tight industry, and so we've reached out to each other. And it's the same in the farming industry. People want to help people. We just have to, when I said about the 5-minute situation on the fires, it was, you know, people saw the fire happen Friday night and they want to get back in right now. Fire's still out of control. So that's what I meant by that part.
Indeed. And we don't know how much longer this is going to occur or how many new fires may occur in the Okanagan Valley. So a very desperate situation. But Ron, thank you for bringing our attention to the businesses in this area.
Well, I appreciate it. And, you know, my heart goes out to those that I haven't reached out to yet. But, you know, I had people reaching out to me till midnight and letting me know that they're okay, even though their house is gone or their business is gone. And we'll continue to do everything we can to support them as we go forward.
Ron Kubek, thank you very much this morning.
Thanks, Susan. Have a great day.